back to Free Media. I'm Amber Duke.
And I'm Robby Soave. Well, President Trump trashed neoconservatism during his remarks in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and delivered an eloquent defense of non-interventionist foreign policies.
The president's speech comes as the administration is feeling pleased about its recent accomplishments in the Middle East, which include the release of Eden Alexander, the last American-Israeli hostage held by Hamas. Let's watch some of his speech.
And it's crucial for the wider world to note this great transformation has not come from Western interventionists or flying people in beautiful planes giving you lectures on how to live and how to govern your own affairs. No, the gleaming marvels of Riyadh and Abu Dhabi were not created by the so-called nation builders, neocons, or liberal nonprofits like those who spent trillions and trillions of dollars failing to develop Kabul, Baghdad, so many other cities. Instead, the birth of a modern Middle East has been brought by the people of the region themselves, the people that are right here, the people that have lived here all their lives, developing your own sovereign countries, pursuing your own unique visions and charting your own destinies in your own way. It's really incredible what you've done. In the end, the so-called nation builders wrecked far more nations than they built, and the interventionists were intervening in complex societies that they did not even understand themselves. They told you how to do it, but they had no idea how to do it themselves.
Pretty,
kind of a banger.
Interesting speech along the lines of my own ideology, the libertarian foreign policy. There he was slamming nation builders and Western intervention. Wow, I think whoever wrote that maybe reads you and reads me and reads some of our people who think the way we do about foreign policy. The point is solid and speaks to, you know, like some real wins that the Trump administration, I think, can take on foreign policy recently. It's by no means perfect, and there's still a lot that could go wrong and a lot that does go wrong. But getting the hostage back, Eden Alexander, was great, and it involved direct negotiation, or still indirect negotiation, but not negotiation through Israel.
Yeah.
The Israeli government's a little bit upset about it.
Too bad.
Too bad, it's our citizen, we get him back.
Yeah, exactly. I was reading this morning about the channels that Hamas went through to get contact with the Trump administration. They apparently reached out to Arab Americans for Trump, who then passed a message along to the admin that they were interested in talking about this hostage and potentially returning him. So the Trump administration went straight to Hamas and were able to negotiate his release without anything in exchange, mind you. And yeah, Israel's mad because they only found out about it through surveillance, I assume, of Hamas, hopefully not of the Trump administration, but could be both, knowing Israel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, too bad you're mad, right? Like, you are not making any progress on this, and I think there's been a lot of criticism of Netanyahu for seemingly wanting to continue the war for domestic political reasons, and if that's at the expense of an American citizen, then sorry, we're gonna go around you.
Right, and we don't have to participate in that. I mean, I keep saying, look, if that's the Israeli policy, that's the Israeli policy. I want to be, like Trump, be uninvolved.
Yeah.
We're never going to be totally uninvolved because there's political interest in supporting Israel. And again, I support them to the extent that they were attacked by a terrorist group. Hamas is a terrorist group. They had the right to retaliate and try to return their people. They killed the leader of Hamas and the architects of that actual attack. Netanyahu wants to go further, I guess, and almost seemingly wipe out the entire region. I don't know why we have to participate in that. We don't want to participate in that. And it's been nice to see some more diplomatic voices, like, I guess, J.D. Vance and others in the administration prevailing through the work of Steve Witkoff, who's doing, I think, really good negotiation on the Middle Eastern front, and with Iran to hopefully avert a cataclysmic World War III type showdown there that some people do want on the right. I mean, you know, Mark Levin called out Steve Witkoff, which was interesting, but J.D. Vance came to his defense. So there is a real tension and disagreement among some factions on the right here. disagreement is better than just getting steamrolled by those people that Trump called out.
Yeah, and I think Trump has taken a really smart middle ground on the Iran issue, where he's not accepting as gospel Iran's promises like we did with the Iran deal under Obama, but he's also not trying to run full-fledged into a war with the country. And I was amazed to see, while he was giving this speech effectively, almost at the same exact time, the Treasury Department announced a new round of sanctions on Iranian oil exports and basically giving their oil to Chinese companies, which are then marketing it as something other than Iranian oil to try to get around other sanctions. So it's sort of a carrot and a stick kind of thing, where he's talking about this hopeful future for Iran, the willingness of the administration to negotiate, to make a deal, while also putting on these sanctions to say, here's what's going to happen if you don't come to the table and negotiate, is we're going to keep putting massive economic pressure on you guys.
Speaking of sanctions, I just saw reported that Trump is considering, or is going to move ahead with, removing the sanctions on Syria, which I think is probably a good idea. The sanctions on Syria were part of the reason that Assad fell. I certainly had mixed feelings about the fall of Assad, given that it was seeming to empower people who are at least formally affiliated with ISIS. Now, Assad is a reprehensible dictator, so it's no sadness over Assad falling, but we've come to regret the more secular, autocratic dictator coming to some end in the Middle East and then being replaced by a terrorist group. But the sanctions do contribute to tremendous suffering of the people. This is the regime now in Syria. I think it's probably a smart move to try to normalize relations with them. And it's not going to be popular, again, with probably a lot of neoconservative type people or nation building type people, but it's part of the Trump approach to see, well, can we get along with people who might be despicable for a variety of reasons, might have done a lot of things we don't like, but we have to live in the real world. We can't snap our fingers and have Russia magically disappear and China magically disappear and Iran magically disappear. We have to deal with them as they are and try to bring down friction. It's not about being naive or just trusting people who are reprehensible. It's not like I trust Vladimir Putin any more than I trust Xi Jinping, but what else can we do but try to negotiate and try to live peacefully and try to see if there are ways to bring down hostilities.
Yeah.
And if they backstab us, then we got to have some follow through. But that doesn't mean that friction is the first order of the day.
Yeah, I view it as a very realist foreign policy, and one that is very refreshing after the past 25, 30 years of the neoconservative dogma that has led to, yes, destroyed nations and also less security for the U.S.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching Free Media this week. We'll be back next week. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave us a comment. Tell us how you think we're doing and what you'd like for us to discuss. See you later.